Old man, random thought, number 18. Or it says in the background somewhere. Well, this is my latest amateurish, crude-looking attempt to force a thumbnail. You know, you can grab it from anywhere now, algorithm. Mr. Algorithm, you do whatever you want because every frame is going to have that in it. So they'll all work for the thumbnail. Look a little crude, and in this age of artificial polished content, one of the things that I see from the tutorials and the advice, there must be thousands of channels that are doing that, advice for new YouTubers, is that this slickness, this AI polished, is somewhat artificial, and it appeals to an aesthetic which I think has a limitation. I mean, it has its limits, and so people are getting kind of tired of over slick, and that's one thing. The old people apparently are making their moves on YouTube because they're not as slick. We can't be as slick. We're old. You know, you can be slick when you're 20. I don't know that I was, but a lot of people try to be and are. So you can look right on this frame and see which one it is. It's Old Man Random Thought number 18. And another foggy morning in Vilcabamba in southern Ecuador. Well, what I was saying before I lost my train of thought was that the unpolished, the sincere, well, just because something is not done well doesn't mean it's sincere, although it's more likely to be, because somebody that's self-conscious about not being very good is going to overdo it. Anyway, the fundamental question remains, what do I need to talk about? What do people want to hear? People that enjoy listening to me, I feel sorry for them, but no, I'm full of myself, as they say. That's why it takes such a large container to hold me. I laugh at my own jokes, etc., etc. Pretty pathetic. I'm almost 80 years old. Have I ever mentioned that before? So what's going on? Foggy. Kind of chilly, too. What's going on here? We're supposed to have a reputation as perpetual spring here in southern Ecuador. Well, in truth, spring has cool days, days with fog. Where I used to be up on the coast of Maine, there'd be quite a few days with fog. Fog coming off the ocean, sea smoke, smoke over the humidity over the ponds and things. I somewhat miss New England. I can be nostalgic for cold weather when I'm in fairly warm weather. It's actually too cool right now, mid-60s. It's too cool for me to feel nostalgic about the cold. It's just something you deal with up there, and it's a lot easier to deal when you're younger, obviously. So what have I been talking about? You know, I've scrupulously avoided politics, geopolitical, the big scene. And that is something I've always paid attention to. It's an ongoing drama, and I had a habit when there were newspapers, they're hardly around anymore, of reading the papers every day, the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and others, mostly those two, for the news, see what's going on, and to, when I was younger too, I listened to shortwave radio a lot, and you could hear the Kremlin speaking through Radio Moscow. You could hear the Voice of America and hear what the U.S. government was saying. But fortunately, the administration in Washington shut down Voice of America. I believe they did. No, they politicized it. That's right. But there's not that much going on in shortwave anymore. There's a lot of media off of satellites, of course, and on the fiber internet. But I was saying I paid a lot of attention to what's going on. But like everyone else, I have been inundated and tortured, actually, with the fire hose of news and opinions that's coming at us. One theory is that it's intentional, that we will become numb and unresponsive to the real news. You know, if you've got a theater full of 1,000 people and all of them have been shouting fire, fire, fire for the last half hour, if somebody points out that there actually is a fire and yells fire, you're not going to notice it, are you? What do you mean? There's no fire. I think maybe there is a fire now, though, and it's good to pay attention. We get into these political things, not so much anymore. I tell you what, there's enough of the good old boys down here retired to Ecuador that are losing enthusiasm for the present cabal, the present junta in Washington. They've gone from being laudatory and the greatest human being ever created to saying nothing. I mean, they haven't gone negative yet, or some of them are starting to go negative. Well, that's the problem. Everything's tied to ego. Geez, I said I like so-and-so, but if I don't like him now, they'll think I'm a wishy-washy. Well, it's possible to change your opinion. That's that same principle I was talking about, getting these YouTube things figured out. You make mistakes. You make mistakes. You always make mistakes. Somebody that commented on one of these videos said, yeah, Einstein said if you never make a mistake, you never made an attempt at anything. You never tried anything. Well, it's obviously true, and it's something that we all know from our experience. We don't have to take somebody's word for it. It's totally possible to come up with the wrong opinion on something. But I don't know, is it ego that's, people's ego is being pampered to, being encouraged so that they can go over to this political side or that political side, or the culture wars or any of that. You know, I'm not a Christian, but I think that that man in Judea all those years ago had a very simple solution. Just treat others as you want them to treat you. Too complicated for human beings, though. They can't handle something that complicated. They need to put themselves forward ahead of the group. I imagine a world of humans, a society where people are decent to one another. Obviously science fiction, and pretty far-fetched. Stanislav Lem, who wrote Solaris, from which the movie was made, had a story once about a man that went by himself in a rocket ship, in a spaceship, and traveled near the speed of light, went somewhere, and then came back. Well, because of time dilation, because he was going so fast relative to everybody else on the Earth, when he came back, it was years later. I mean, it's like 100 years later. And somebody had come up with something, I don't know, a pill or a ray or something that made everybody nice. It drove him crazy. He had to move into the woods. He went somewhere where there was nobody else because he couldn't handle being around people because they were too nice. That's a problem it'd be good to have, but if you think about it a bit, you think about all the ways that this hairless ape has of destroying community. I told a friend of mine who pushed back immediately, I said, human beings, their chief characteristic is lying. I mean, their chief skill, the number one social skill is lying. The number two social skill is detecting lies. And he said, oh, no. What a paragon of virtue is man. Humans are so wonderful. They're divine. No, they're not. They're filthy, rotten, horrible, nasty creatures that have, apparently because they ate a lot of fish millions of years ago, become intelligent enough to build suicide machines and kill each other in vast numbers, Yeah, they have a good aspect, but it's pretty well balanced by the bad aspect. Well, that's my diatribe against humanity. It ought to get me kicked out any day now. Thanks for coming along. This one's going to be a straight shot. No editing, no nothing. I just want to get rid of it. You have a good day. Have a good whenever. And we'll see you at some point in the future. Or you'll see me anyway. Can't have everything. Ciao.